All right, all right, all right. What's up? What's up? What's up, Steeler Nation? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will allow some of you guys to get up in here, man, before I get it cracking. Another draft in the books, man, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I won't spend, too much time. I plan to have my good brother Kenyon on Tuesday if he is still available. We'll do a steel table, man, to recap the draft. But I just thought, the way this draft went, it was fitting for me to come on here really quick and just give a light overview of how I feel about the draft. Not necessarily how I feel about each player, particularly some of the later guys, but just give my overall thoughts, man, because this draft was crazy with the Shador stuff and all that, and I'll get into that. And yeah. So we'll talk a little bit. Like I said, this is going to be a light show, not going to go too long, chop it up with you all. I want to see what you guys feel about the draft. I'll give you my thoughts. And that'll be that. And like I said, we'll go more in depth. We'll go more in depth on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. For some of you all that might be new, I do Terrible Towel Tuesday, each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that's when we will dive in. This week, again, I will have my good brother Kenyon joining me. So it will be more of a steel table, not round table, steel table discussion. But how's everybody doing so far, man? Let me see what you guys got. How's everybody doing? Let's say hello to some of the early commenters in the building. Let's see who we got up in here. My man, Jared Devil is in the building. CT Pittman, my man, is in the building. Kev So Fun, my man. My man, the infamous Tim. All of y'all is my mans in them. All of y'all are my mans in them. All of y'all. My good brother Kenyon for sure in the building. Keith in the building as well. Charlie Brown is in the building. Dr. Trey 88 in the building. Get the red carpet ready to be rolled out for Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about that. Maddo says, good draft. We got some studs on defense. Excuse me. Who else is up in here, man? Daron. What up, Daron? Daron in the building, my man. A few late nights is in the building. Malvo in the building. Dragon Jay-Z in the building. All right, let's do it. What y'all say? I forgot. Okay, somebody's talking about the Celtics. Kenyon said Jokic is a beast. Yeah, I saw a little piece of that. We went out to eat a little while ago. You guys know my son had a tournament out in Delaware, and we went out to eat, and the game was on. So that's why I'm here so late. They didn't do so well today, guys. First game, they lost that game. They lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to, and they lost their second game as well. And that game, it's came down to the wire. They ended up losing by, I think, 2 points. Crazy thing is they were down by 11 at half, and they brought it all the way back. They just couldn't finish the deal, man. I think the guys were a little sluggish. Excuse me, getting going. Really was proud at how they finished the second half. Of course, me being a parent, but even the coaches, we were really proud of the team, man. They locked down, played really good, and almost won that game. But, these guys are just getting to know each other. This team that he's playing on in the spring is a different AAU team that he played in on the fall. So a lot of these guys don't really know each other. They're learning how to play together, and, they'll get there. They'll get there. They got, about 5 more tournaments to go. But all right, let's get to it, guys. Hold on. We got Wonder Bread. Round of applause to CT Pittman. I appreciate that, brother. He says, solid draft. I'm cool with it. And Kev So Fun also says he is a Celtics fan. He says, I'm cool with Jack Sawyer. Yeah, I'll get to that too. We got more Wonder Bread. My man, the infamous Tim, round of applause. And in case you guys are wondering what this is, again, this zero gravity, weekend band, if you will, so we can get back into the tournament tomorrow. Round of applause, guys. Infamous Tim says, I would have preferred a DB over what? What? You said I would have preferred a DV over. I think you were saying another edge, but good, it was a value pick, so I'm not mad. Also, the Browns are having the battle of the backup quarterbacks. Yeah, that's crazy. So, Infamous Tim, when you said another edge, who are you referring to? Sawyer? You referring to Sawyer? The interesting thing about him, man, Sawyer actually plays on and off the ball, so he is an interesting pick. It'll be very interesting to see how we utilize him, but I've seen him play on the edge. I've seen him be an off-ball linebacker, so that kid is a baller. He's an absolute baller, so yeah, I'm not mad about that pick. I'm going to read this comment just because I see it quick. Shout outs to Donald84 Big Dog. He says, yo, Sim and the draft. He says the draft was interesting. I think Jackson Dart might shock some people in the future. Yeah, man. You guys remember, some of y'all would remember that I actually was high on Jackson Dart after I watched him. I watched 4 games on him, and I was like, look, not a finished product, but if I had to give my opinion on the guys who fit possibly what the Steelers want to do, I said that it was more Jackson Dart, more Milroe, and even Will Howard than anyone else. Than Tyler Shuck, then obviously, I wasn't big on Riley Leonard, but also Shedeur Sanders. You guys will recall me saying several times, I like Shedeur, I just didn't know how he would fit in Pittsburgh, but it is going to be interesting, man. I'm not sure how Dart will do with the Giants. Curious to see what type of offense they run. I'm definitely going to pay attention. And this is what I love about football, man. You scout these guys, or you watch some of these guys in college, especially around this time of the year. I start really honing in on players and positions that the Steelers are looking for. You got guys like Kenyon. Some of you guys are like Kenyon, where y'all just natural scouts, if you will. I would say Kenyon is on a different level, but you're constantly watching guys. So it's always cool to see how these dudes perform in the NFL, whether it's on your team or not. So I say that to say I definitely will be keeping my eye on Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Shedeur, of course, and I'm about to get to Shedeur in a moment before I address our picks. But yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out. I'm curious to see how he performs in New York. We shall see. So really quick, guys, let's get to the Shedeur thing. Biggest elephant in the room. It was a big elephant in the room last night, and it's an even bigger elephant in the room tonight. I'm going to say this, guys, and I'm just going to make this point, and then I'm going to move on. Something is in my eye, guys. Forgive me. I feel like there was something going on, man. Call it collusion. Call it the NFL sending a message. Call it owners getting together and saying, hey, we didn't like, how this dude performed in his meetings. That's what we're hearing. We don't know. None of us know the truth, right? We heard that there were some meetings that he didn't do so great in, but then we also heard that he performed well or had a good meeting with Mike Tomlin and crew. And I'm going to get to the Steelers here in a moment. I'm going to stand on the same stance that I've had since we talked about Shedeur. But I absolutely think something was going on, man. It doesn't have to be my opinion. Listen to a lot of other people, not just common people, and we're all common people. But what I'm saying, you don't have to just listen to the fan. You can listen to some of these professionals and how they talked about this was crazy. I'm going to interrupt myself for a moment, and I'm going to give a round of applause to my brother, C.T. Pittman. Again, I appreciate you guys coming in heavy with the Wonder Bread tonight. Thank y'all, man. Wow. He says, have we ever drafted an MVP and an NCAA champion quarterback before, especially one in the same calendar year? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the answer to that. If any of you guys know, please Please, please, please share that information. But that is a very good point, because I was going to talk a little bit about that as well when I get into Will Howard a little bit. Very good point. Very good point, CT. So yeah, back to the Shedeur thing. Yes. Are you asking me that something was up? Yes, I believe that. I don't know what. There's a lot of theories that I could believe in. I could believe that there was some type of, you know, I'll say there was some type of agreement or plan amongst GMs and owners to say, look, we can't allow a player like this to come in and lead a team. What I mean by that is an unapologetic guy, not afraid to be himself, have a little cockiness to him and a little swag. And again, unapologetic. Is it possible that this was a plan? It's possible. I don't know, guys. So I'm not going down that road. All I know is it stinks, right? Could he have rubbed people all the wrong way in the meetings? Very possible. Very possible. I don't know. I'm just saying how it looks. So before anybody wants to give your opinion on what I'm saying, I'm only talking about how it looked. It looked like something was up. And many people in the industry said the same thing. Man, shout outs to Sean Payton. I'm going to give Sean Payton a round of applause, man. I'm going to give Sean Payton a round of applause. Sean Payton said in his press conference this weekend, I think it was yesterday, that himself says he's perplexed. That's what he said. I don't understand why this kid has not been drafted. Another head coach in the league said that. There's no benefit for Sean Payton to say that. Some of you guys are going to say, well, there was no benefit for Sean Payton to say that. And he said that. It's a lot of people around these NFL circles who spoke up and said, something's not right here. We've never seen this. Guys, this is all I want to tell y'all. Y'all can sit in the chat, because I'm not even looking over there yet, but I'm sure people are saying, oh, he sucked. Oh, he was underrated. However y'all feel about Shedeur, let me put this in proper perspective. Just a few weeks ago, they were talking about whether Shedeur or Cam Ward was going first. Think about that. The entire college football season, they talked about which one of those guys was going first. And just about a couple weeks ago, they were trying to figure out which of the three would be drafted and when. They knew Cam Ward, but the narrative was, is it going to be Shedeur or Jackson Dart? Right? Jackson Dart also didn't go at number 3. They came back and got him. But what I'm saying is, that was the conversation. Regardless of your opinion, you guys, me, regardless of our opinions, the narrative around the league was, the consensus was, this guy would be a first rounder, maybe second rounder. Then he started to slip a little, Maybe he'll fall out of the first round. But explain to me when we have ever seen somebody with that type of projection fall to the 5th round. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And if it did, y'all point it out to me, because, maybe it has happened before. But either way, that's not the norm. So put your feelings aside, put any bias aside. And when I say bias, I'm talking about people who just still stand on that box of, oh, that's just because you guys just like Shedeur. Oh, he's overrated. No. Put all of that to the side. The league had made that assessment. All the pundits had made that assessment that this guy is at least a top 3 quarterback out of the 3 out of this class, regardless of how you felt about the class. So how is it that he falls to the 5th? Do you guys realize that Dillon Gabriel got drafted before him? No shade to Dillon Gabriel. I'm just saying, come on, man. Tyler Shuck, come on, man. And I'm not talking solely about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then I'm going to get to our picks, but let me say this last thing. Guys, for all of y'all that was so upset last night and y'all pounding the table, man, some of y'all say this team is going to go, they're the worst team ever. Oh, get ready for a 2-14. Because we didn't select Shedeur. And it's funny that there was such a large crowd for Shedeur all of a sudden. I didn't see so many people pounding the table before that. Some of y'all did. Some of my regulars were high on Shedeur. But again, there is a very good possibility that the Steelers felt the same way I did. Shedeur is not a fit. Traditionally, he doesn't fit the Steelers. That's all I'm saying. Could he have learned? Maybe. We'll never know. Some people are going to say, well, he's not a fit in Cleveland either. Maybe he's not. But they picked him. Shedeur has since I've been watching him in both colleges, spread offenses, primary shotgun, not any real snaps from under the center. That does not fit what Arthur Smith does. I'm going to keep saying that because I don't want you guys to feel like the Steelers just passed on Shedeur. Maybe they did, just like the rest of the other teams did, but you got to ask yourself that question. If everybody else wasn't drafting him either, and let's put the conspiracy to the side. Let's just assume it was evaluation and meetings or whatever. Then why do we keep doing this at the Steelers? These other teams didn't take him either. So whatever the case may be, there was a reason why. Whether it was a planned get back at the Sanders, which is very possible, or whether it was his evaluation, I don't believe that in terms of talent, but personality. Everything that they've seen on social media, that one game where him and his big little brother, Deion Jr. cussing out the ball, man. It could have been all of that for the NFL and the GMs and the club, that club to say, oh, we don't want that here. All of that is possible, but all I'm saying is, why are y'all doing this at the Steelers? When, in essence, if we just talk about football, I think Shedeur Sanders is talented. I am rooting for him. Now, I'm in the point where I have to root for two quarterbacks in the AFC North. I've told y'all before the reason why I root for Lamar Jackson, because of how they tried to say he could never be a quarterback when he was coming out the draft. And now I got to root for Shedeur because I think what happened to Shedeur, it was absolutely ridiculous. But with all that said, go back and look at my last 4 or 5 videos. I have been saying that Shedeur does not fit the Steelers' scheme. But even I text Kenyon and said, all right, at the 4th round, in the 4th round, I mean, figure out the scheme. Like, the talent, the value is too high to pass on him in the 4th. But the Steelers decided they didn't need to do that. That's it. That's all. So now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's talk about this draft. Let's be quick. Where we at? About 20 minutes. All right, I'm not going to stay much longer. So the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1st round, they draft Derek Harmon. By now, most of you guys know that. Highly rated D tackle. Many people thought he would be the first D tackle off the board. It was a toss-up between him and Kenneth Grant. A lot of people figured Graham could be the first one, but y'all know those 3, and there was a 4th guy that I'm missing, but those 3 basically were in the mix of could go in the top 10. This is where he's been projected. He was still there. The Steelers saw a run going on D tackles, and they decided that was the more important, and they drafted him. Excellent pick. I think this dude has the potential to be a future star. With Cam Hayward's tutelage, Derek Harmon has the potential to be a beast. Big guy, 6'4.5", I think, 313. They going to get him right. He's got the arm length. He got everything that the Steelers look for in that position. And yeah, we desperately need that. Cam Hayward is aging. The Pittsburgh Steelers got gouged against the run late in the season, particularly against the Ravens and other teams later in the season. Excellent pick, in my opinion. Next up, Steelers did not have a second-round pick, but they had a third-round pick. And lo and behold, they drafted a guy that was on my list of running backs, Caleb Johnson. We talked about him last night, but I'm going to talk about him again for those of you that didn't hear that. Coming into this, there were about 3 running backs that I said I would like to see on the Steelers roster. I was pretty cool with all of the running backs that they brought in. I didn't put Hampton in that mix because I don't think they had a pre-draft visit with Amarian Hampton. I don't think. Amarian Hampton. They may have. But I didn't have him on that list because I thought he would go a little earlier, so I didn't think the Steelers was in the market for him. But the 3 guys that I had been saying that I would like to see, my number 1 guy, I was high on Henderson. After I watched some Ohio State tape, I was like, hey, man, both of these backs are good. A lot of people are on Judkins, both good. But I was like, it's something about Henderson that I like. I think I liked his home run ability just a bit more, right? So, you know, I had an affinity for him. I was like, I'd like to see him on the Steelers if we could find a way to get him. I also talked about a later round guy in Tootin from Virginia Tech. And then my number 2 guy was Caleb Johnson. And the Steelers went and got him. And some people was disrespecting this man last night, saying, oh, it's just another Najee. No, he's different than Najee. He's Najee's size, yes, but Najee has never had 60-plus yard touchdowns. Najee Harris never hit the hole quite like this guy. Najee was a get going type of guy. You get him going, you rev up that engine, keep cranking, and then that freight train gets to going. And he'll show his strength and all that. But Najee absolutely wasn't the hit it and go type like this kid. This boy in open field, he gone. He don't waste no energy. And the funny thing is, he's not a 4-3 guy. He's a 4-5 guy, which, again, let me say this loud and clear. A lot of people seem to think that 4-5 is not fast. That's fast. Any of y'all who ever played football understands what I'm saying. 4-5 is fast. 4-4 is real fast. And then 4-3 is just lightning speed. 4-3 and under, you's flying. But 4-5, you can get out and go. Y'all had never seen Antonio Brown really get caught from behind, right? AB ran 4-5. You can fly at 4-5. That the difference between 4-5 and 4-3 is probably like this in a race. It ain't, you know what I mean? It's not, it ain't a super wide margin. I love the pick. I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, let's shake and disagree. I love that pick of Caleb Johnson. This dude is going, yeah, I think he has the potential to be a star early because he fits our scheme perfectly. And the funny thing is, Arthur Smith said that he can run any scheme that you want. Any scheme. He said the boy could run any scheme. See, I didn't realize that. I haven't watched a lot of Iowa football. I seen him run a lot of them zones. I seen him run wide zone. Picture this. Let me give y'all another little nugget that Arthur Smith said. He said we didn't run a lot of wide zone last year. Hence, Najee won't really the guy to do that. Maybe not even Warren. I don't know, but I'm just echoing his words. He said he likes to run wide zone and outside zone, but we didn't do much of it. He said it. He dialed it back. This kid thrives with it. He thrives off of the zone blocking scheme, and I have definitely seen him run inside and out. And he hits it. He see the hole, he's gone. And he's strong. And he'll stiff arm you. Like this, I love this pick. Interrupt myself again, man. CT Pittman, keep dropping that Wonder Bread. Thank you, brother. Round of applause. This is an interesting question that I myself can't answer because I don't watch a ton of college football. I watch a good amount, but this Kenyon could probably answer this. But he says, has the SEC talent fallen off? We were heavy on Big Ten players, all good players too. I'm going to take a guess and say, I'm going to take an educated guess, and I'm not qualifying this. I'm saying it's very possible that it has, but here's the reason why. I think NIL, I think NIL is going to shift all of that. We're going to continue to see it. You're going to see talent in these different areas. Like, think about it. Even Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter was at Colorado because of Prime, right? But clearly, Travis Hunter could have probably went and played SEC, ACC, Big Ten, like wherever he wanted to play. But I think NIL and things like that, you're going to continue to see that shift because you're seeing more and more guys transfer year after year after year. And that probably will weaken the SEC. I watched Nick Saban on the Pivot. Shout out to the Pivot, Ryan Clark and the boys, man. Channing and Fred, don't want to, disrespect them and not say their names. And Saban was saying he remembered the days when the SEC meant something, right? Remember, a lot of us even would say the SEC was the mini NFL. And even he said it's starting to weaken a little bit. And NIL probably has a big reason, big thing to do with that is, you're going to see these guys, these kids, man, just, transferring out. So the SEC might not hold the same weight as it once did. But I can't qualify that statement, that question. CT Pittman, excellent question, but maybe Kenya might want to weigh on it, might weigh in on that. The next pick, guys. I got to throw one of these on this. I remember watching Ohio State games. I remember this specifically. Kenyon and I sharing comments with each other saying, yo, this Jack Sawyer kid looked like a Steeler. A Steeler. And we both was like, probably won't be a chance that the Steelers will grab a guy like this because, we got other needs. And you figure that Sawyer is not going to be there, right? Because we got other needs. We knew we needed a quarterback. Thought it was a chance that they would go early. We thought it was a chance. Some people hoped that they didn't, but we always thought it was a chance. We knew we needed D-line and we needed running back. And those three positions were more in need over an outside backer or a guy who could basically play both. So that's the reason why I never thought Jack Sawyer would fall into our lap, and he did. And my God, like I said, I don't even have to sit here and talk about his skill or lack thereof, whatever. Just go watch him. Go watch him and tell me that this dude don't look like a Steeler. I mean, he's a Steeler thick and through, dog. I mean, let's just look at him. Look at him I'm looking at the image right now. He is a Steeler. I love this pick. Awesome. I'm gonna go old school and say awesome. Love it. Now let's look at the other pick. Yaya Black, D lineman from Iowa. Kenyon and I have talked about this guy. Came in for a pre-draft visit, if I'm not mistaken. I got to do a little more homework on him so I could really watch him. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I know all about him. Kenyon would know more than I, but we definitely talked. He definitely kind of put me on to him, so to speak, say, oh, yeah. Watch this guy. Because we were keeping track of people who was visiting the Steelers. And like we always say, pay attention to who comes in for the visits. Obviously, you can't pick all 30, but a lot of times they pick from that list. I don't recall Jack Sawyer being a pre-draft visit. However, they was at Ohio State's pro day. So it's not always going to come from that list. But you know who was on the list? Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson. You see? So pay attention to where the Steelers are. Pay attention to the pre-draft visits. They brought in Derek Harmon. And there it is. You know, the Steelers' first-round pick is usually they were at the pro day or they had a pre-draft visit. And there it is, sticking with the theme again. They were not at Oregon's pro day, but Harmon came in for a visit, and that was the first-round pick. Next up, Will Howard. Y'all heard me talk about Will Howard. Will Howard was the later of the quarterbacks that I reviewed. I had reviewed, of course, I had already seen Shedeur. I reviewed Jalen Milroe. I reviewed Tyler Shuck. Looked at a little bit of Kyle McCord. Will Howard was one of my laters. And y'all remember I came in here. Remember that very next week I said, hey, man, my bad, Will Howard. I kind of disrespected him, kind of saying, I ain't even going to worry about watching him. But when I came onto the show, y'all remember what I said? I said, hey, man, he not bad, bro. I don't know if he is this. He's not. Well, I do know. He's not a generational talent or nothing like that. I can't stamp it and say right now that he's going to be a franchise QB. But I did say verbatim, hey, I'm not mad at them drafting a guy like that this year. Potentially get a chance to play, see what you can get from him, and then you shoot again next year. Did I not say that? Y'all know I said that. Keep shooting until you hit the target. I've been telling y'all I'm not opposed of the Steelers. At first I said, hey, I'm not opposed to them drafting a quarterback in 25 and 26. That's what I first said. The last 2 weeks I've been telling y'all they're going to draft a quarterback this draft. And then on Tuesday, I said they're definitely going to do it. Listening to what your boy said. Omar Khan said, look, we got 2 quarterbacks. We're going into camp with 4. That right there let me know that one of the people that they talked to, whether it was a visit or a pro day, was getting drafted. I knew daggone well Milroe, Howard, wasn't sure about Shedeur, Shuck, even Jackson Dart. I was like, one of them dudes is getting drafted. And it's Will Howard. And I'm going to let y'all know this. I'm not mad at it, guys. I'm not mad at the Will Howard pick at all again because they can shoot again next year. So I seen some people on X going off, oh, why would they do that? He's not the right quarterback. They can refire in 2026. And get this, we coming into that draft with a bunch of picks. I think this was smart. And y'all know I stick to what I believe in. I've been saying this for weeks now. Shoot twice. Because now you get you at least a backup for 4 seasons at the cheap. And then if you go get a boy next year, that's another 4, at least 4. If you get somebody in the first round, that's 5 years. I think this was a smart play. And Will Howard, folks, ain't that bad. Like, I think we forget that they won a national championship. He's not a bum. He might not be the generational talent that some people want, but this dude is not a bum. Y'all heard me say last week, might have said it Tuesday too, I'd take him over Tyler Shuck. Remember what I said? I said, if we're talking about scheme, I'm going to push Shedeur to the side because I don't think he fits the Steelers scheme. And I can't even say that Howard fits it 100%, but I think he might fit it more than what we saw Shedeur do. Because they leaned on a run too at Ohio State. That was more of a pro style, if I remember correctly. And I'm back in the lab already. I'm about to watch right now. Started watching a little bit at dinner, and I told my wife, I said, you know what, let me put this phone down and pay attention to you, babe. You know, I'll get to this later. But I'm about to watch Ohio State and Penn State. I'm going to watch that game. I'm going to watch like 6 or 7 Ohio State games. We'll go back I watched this game twice, actually, Oregon and Ohio State. So, I kind of was able to get to see Harmon. Harmon had some good plays in that game. And Will Howard. And I might watch it again, but I'm going to watch about 7 games from Ohio State just so I could get a deeper understanding of Will Howard. But I'm not mad at it at all, bro. I'm not. I think they played this very smart. And if we don't do anything else, we might have to give the Steelers credit for not jumping out the window and repeating a Kenny Pickett situation. They didn't feel the pressure and they stayed put. They didn't go quarterback in first, third, or fourth. And they still grabbed them one in the 6th or 5th. 6th round. They got a 6th round quarterback. I'm not mad. And also, let me tell you this. Don't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers do come on in there and play for a season. And if that's the case, let me say this loud and clear because y'all know where I stood with this. But in case some of y'all don't know, I have no problem with Aaron Rodgers coming in now. My only beef was stop getting these bridge gap old school guys and you don't even attempt to do nothing in the draft. I said the only way that I'm cool when Aaron Rodgers coming in for a season is if they draft one of these young quarterbacks and then go draft another one in 2026. The fact that they at least draft somebody to get younger at the quarterback position and they're basically showing us their hand now. All right, we'll give this young boy possibly a chance this year, even if we bring in Rodgers. We'll give this guy the heads up or the head start to get in, learn, and then he compete with the guy next year, right? You would hope your first rounder is going to be the guy, but at least you get somebody in now in case you got to go to him. Or in case Aaron Rodgers doesn't come. Will Howard will be able to compete with Mason Rudolph. So I think this was smart by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Next up, Carson Bruner. Shout outs to the Steelers, keeping it bloodline. That's Mark Bruner's son. That's a cool story. I don't know much about Carson, so I got to check him out, right? Another linebacker, so I got to take a look at him. Have not watched much of that. So what I'm going to try to do, man, is try to watch a lot of these games where it's team against team, right? So if I could find Oregon against Washington or somebody like that, then I can watch both. And then Dante Kent, I'm not familiar with him at all. Not at all. He is a cornerback and a punt returner, and I'm going to find something that Alex Kazor posted about this kid. Hold on, let me show you. Let me find it. And I thought this was interesting. Let me find it. He basically summed up the pick. Where is it? Here it is. He says, one graphic to sum up the Steelers' 7th-round pick cornerback, Dante Kent. Since 2021, Dante Kent is first in the FBS, ranked first in pass breakups, 26. Explosive plays allowed, second worst at 33. So I thought that was interesting, man, that is bang or bust, boom or bust, whatever you want to say. Like he's going to do good over here, but then he's not going to do so good over here. And listen, guys, it's a 7th-round pick. You take a shot. You know, by the time you get to the 7th round, it ain't like there's one pick that's quote unquote better than the other. You might get something from the guy, right? You know, you might get something from him, right? So you take a chance. I'm not mad at that in the 7th round. And there are your Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. Again, Derek Harmon, Caleb Johnson. And actually, let me say some of the school names in case some people watching here are not familiar. Derek Harmon, DT out of Oregon. Caleb Johnson, running back, Iowa. Jack Sawyer, outside linebacker, Ohio State. Yaya, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's spelled Y-A-H-Y-A. So I'm assuming it's Yaya Black, D lineman from Iowa, Will Howard, quarterback, Ohio State, Carson Bruner, linebacker, Washington, and Dante Kent, cornerback and punt returner from Central Michigan. All right, and last but not least, let me read off the list of UDFAs. Rock Taylor, wide receiver from Memphis. DJ Thomas Jones, tight end, South Alabama. Sebastian Castro, DB, Iowa. That's good because I'm going to watch Yaya, so I should be able to look at this kid too. He is a DB. Aiden Williams, offensive lineman, Minnesota Duluth. Ben Sauls, he is a kicker from Pittsburgh. Okay, he went to Pitt. JJ, is it Galbraith? Tight end from South Dakota. And Keyshawn Williams, wide receiver from Indiana. And I will go ahead and let y'all know right now that I will not be watching the UDFAs unless they're actually on a team that I'm watching for my other draft picks, which, again, the kid Sebastian Castro is. He's on Iowa, and I will be watching Iowa for Yaya. So there you have it, guys. There was our draft. If you're asking me how I feel about it, I think this was a solid draft. I really do. I think what happened to Shedeur Sanders is absolutely crazy. I don't know what the Cleveland Browns are doing. Guys, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson. What in the world is going on in Cleveland? So, yeah, I don't know what's going on over there, man. But like I said, I root for Shedeur because I absolutely hate what happened to that kid. I don't care how you guys feel about him. Y'all want to call him trash and all that. There is no way in the world. Yes, I'm going to stand on that. This is my opinion. Agree or disagree. There's no way in the world Shedeur Sanders should have been drafted in the 5th round if Dylan Gabriel was already off the board and Tyler Shuck was already off the board. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying either one of those dudes are trash. I'm just saying, come on, man. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Shedeur is not at the talent level of those guys. Stop. But it could have been scheme fit too. You never know. I don't know. I don't know. But let's do it. What y'all got? Fire away, man. Give me some comments. I'll spend a little time in here, and then I'll be out of here. Steeler Card says, it was a good haul, but they had 2 franchise players available. We'll see who those picks and end up being before we grade the trade. You said 2 franchise players. Who are they? Give me some names. Ali says, Yaya means Jesus for anybody interested. Beautiful. Beautiful. I like that. Absolutely. Meadow says he gives the draft grade a B. That's solid. James Thompson says Pittsburgh doesn't need Rodgers. Yeah, at this point, man, listen. I'm ready for it. I don't know if Steeler Nation is ready for it. Rebuild. Rock out with Mason and Howard and Thompson or whoever else you want to bring in. You say you want to come in with 4. You know, let Rodgers do what he got to do, man. Because Rodgers doesn't sound like somebody who wants to commit to football. He basically said that himself. He doesn't want to commit to a team while he's dealing with outside things. You know, so move on. Brother Man says, Browns know how to mess up quarterbacks, but maybe this time things could work out. Now they have 5 quarterbacks, drafted 2 of them, so go figure. Yeah, I'm curious to know who's not going to make that roster. They could cut Deshaun Watson if they want. I mean, they done paid him already, so y'all already in the hole for that. If I had to guess today, you keep Joe Flacco around for that veteran leadership, right? Because you got 2 rookies now. I think it is going to shake out like this. They possibly cut Deshaun Watson. Kenny Pickett is going to compete with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. I think that's how it's going to shake out, and I think they keep Joe Flacco. Or they could get crazy and keep all the young guys. You know, if they, the rumors were they were high on Kenny Pickett, so what they might end up doing is they start the season with Kenny, followed by, Shedeur and Gabriel, or Gabriel and Shedeur. I don't know how the roster or the depth chart will end up, but it could be that. But my prediction would be is they get rid of Deshaun Watson. You're already on the hook for him anyway. I mean, guaranteed money don't matter because you done guaranteed him, right? Money is gone. You keep Joe Flacco, and you allow the competition to be between Kenny Pickett, Gabriel, and Shedeur. And the best 2 out of that 3 will make the team. That's what I think will happen, but who knows? I don't know. Still a card says, Sim, I was talking about the Browns trade back. They could have had Hunter or yeah, man. Yeah, that was bad, bro. Yeah, Browns, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Juan Rangel says, I was mad at the first round until I saw how big he was compared to the couch. That's a big boy. Yeah, man, go check him out. Like, go watch some film, man. Harmon is definitely worthy. It's hard to be mad about that pick. James Thompson said Will Howard is going to be good. I think he has a chance to be solid, man. Again, I can't sit here today and say 10-year franchise guy, but I think he has the potential to be solid. And what's up, man? What is it with Cleveland, by the way? They keep drafting these Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield-esque quarterbacks. Like, just look at that. Johnny Manziel, Baker, Gabriel Dillon. What was his name? Dillon Gabriel. And I'm just talking about stature and kind of style of play. It's like and again, I'm not chumping Gabriel. He got skill, but it's like haven't you learned from that style or that stature of quarterback? It just I didn't understand that at all, man. I just not Cleveland. Maybe Stefanski, man, got some bright ideas, but I just did not understand that. Darius says, facts, rebuild and let the young guns grow up together. I'm with that. I am with that 100%. Emery Underwood, DPSCS says, Sanders just got to eat it and let this fuel him. Prove people wrong. Don't sulk. Don't do too much talking. Go in and let your play show. I'm going to give you one of these, brother. And by the way, I don't want to jump the gun by saying, brother, Emery could very well be male or female or however you identify, but I have a niece named Emery and I know guys named Emery, so if I said brother and you're not that, please correct me, but either way, excellent point, and you deserve a round of applause for that. Yeah, Matto, at this point, I could go either way. If they decide they want to just rebuild and leave Rodgers where he's at, I'm cool with that. But if they want to take Rodgers on a 1-year rental, and especially since he ain't trying to pay for a lot of money, he's not trying to play for a lot of money, then I'm cool with that too. Because one thing for sure, whether you hate it or love it, Rodgers will get the ball to those eligibles. So I'm open to it now. I wasn't as open to it if that was the plan. If they were going to just sit and bring in Rodgers and not draft anybody this year, because my plan all along has been double dip. Draft the quarterback now, maybe one of them surprise you, and then if they don't, you go get one in 26. That was always my plan. I was against only bringing in Rodgers without drafting. Now that we've drafted at least somebody that's got some skill, if you want to bring Rodgers in for a year, feel free. It doesn't hurt us now. Knight Rider says the Sanders hate throughout was just insane. The prank calling, people are terrible. Yeah, it is, man. It is. I just, it really pissed me off, man. The humanity of it. You know, it's just I don't understand the thrill that people get doing that. I really don't understand it, man. That pissed me off, man. For any player, not just Shador. It's just come on, man. That's retarded. Excuse me for saying that word, you know. But that was crazy. That was simply crazy. There's no way that should have happened, man. Stop. We got to stop playing. And we come on. Come on. Y'all trying to play in our face like we don't know what's up. He said NYC is gonna eat Dart up. Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how he's gonna work out at the Giants, man. Good luck to him too, because I like Dart, man. I think Dart was a tough kid, man. Let's see what else we got. Steeler Card says, I can't fathom taking Gabriel round 3 over Shador and then going back to get Shador. Makes no sense. You are absolutely right, sir. Makes no sense. Why, Diggy? What up, Diggy? Diggy says, Derek Harmon is 6'5" with long arms. What I like about him is that he transformed his game after moving from Michigan State to Oregon and shed 30 pounds. Show he's willing to do what it takes to improve. Absolutely wonderful, man. And God bless, again, and Brother Mark just said it. Rest in peace, man, and a God bless to him and his family, man. His mom passed, as he was getting back to the hospital to inform her of him being drafted. She was on life support, and wow, I can't imagine. You guys know I lost my mom during COVID, and I'm still, a piece of my heart still ain't quite where it would, you know what I mean? I can't imagine losing your mother at that age. I think he's 20, 21, somewhere like that. At the biggest moment of your life. You know what I mean? The biggest night, single-handedly, at least one of, I don't know his life, but one of the biggest moments of your life, and on the same night. And God bless him for still talking to the media after that. Like, I'm a fan of this kid right now. I'm in his corner. I am in his corner from right now. Just that mettle that he's showing. God bless him, man. God bless him. Couple more and I'll get out of here, man. Big Dro says, I'm guessing the decision to draft Sanders was the Browns owner. It had to be. Or something. I don't know, man. I've never seen nothing like that. Again, people can make all of the excuses they want about, well, he didn't grade out. Come on, man. I've never seen nothing like that. That specific situation and how it happened to Shador Sanders, I have never seen in my life watching football. Oh, Night Rider said made him think a little bit about Tuitt situation. Man. Stephon Tuitt, man, he had an opportunity, bro. My goodness. He was going to be special, man. Brother Man says, yeah, I lost my mom in 2005, man. God bless you, brother. Sorry to hear that, man. And it don't matter. It doesn't matter how long it's been. Sometimes people say, oh, it's been a long time. No. I can only imagine it still hurts you. Still hurts you. It happened to me 5 years ago, and it don't feel like that, Well, not quite 5 years until November, but 2020 feel like it was yesterday, man. So I don't care if that was 2005. I'm going to say salute and God bless to you, man. What else y'all got, man? Give me a couple more. Emery says, where you got us playing Harmon, I know he could play all over the line, but I think depending on the lineup, Harmon needs to be in the middle while Benton and Haywood play the 3-tech. That is an interesting one, man, because I think I have a sneaky suspicion that they want Harmon to play more like Cam Haywood. So I could see a situation where the plan would be like, especially in sub, where they'll have him lined up alongside Cam Haywood. Now the question is going to be, are they going to play him more in the middle at the nose and base? Are they planning to use him in that versatility because he's stout? He's stout against the run. So it makes me think that they might try to utilize him in those snaps as well, and maybe they'll do a rotation with Benton and him, in sub package. Have a 3-man rotation, which I'm cool with that. You get fresh bodies, fresh capable guys in the interior, and you definitely are going to use Harmon in sub just because of his length, size and length and strength. Like, they're going to use him to help be a capable pass rusher, particularly up the middle. This is where you're going to need it against the mobile QBs, the Lamar Jacksons of the world, even the Joe Burrows of the world, being nimble and mobile back there. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. And I think, they're going to let camp and preseason determine which one of those guys they'll put at the traditional nose, right? I think him and Benton will compete for those reps. Yeah, and I don't think, I really don't think Benton hasn't been as strong at nose. So that might be what they're thinking with Harmon as well, but we'll see. Mark Cunningham says, Sim, you just want to say thanks for the extra shows this weekend. Kenyon, you're a contributor. Don't go unnoticed either, my brother. Yeah, man, he definitely does it. Kenyon knows what he means to me, man, in terms of this stuff. Like, I'm a one-man show for the most part until we do a still table, but I feel like I'm a two-man show having Kenyon in here in the chat because y'all already know the knowledge. Kenyon has me in age as well, so he's been around a little longer, as far as watching the team, and, it cannot replace that. And like I said, even though I'm the only one sitting here talking, him being in the chat is just like two of us running the show, man. So absolutely, his contributions do not go unnoticed, man. I can honestly say it wouldn't be the same without Kenyon. It wouldn't, because we always chopping it up. See, and this is why I love Kenyon too, man, because me and him both the same Aries minds, always joking. See, talking about no Diddy. Talking about what I mean to you. It's my boy, man. That's my guy right there. But yeah, man, that's it. I didn't mean to go an hour, guys. I seriously did not mean to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut us down, man. I'm gonna go upstairs. Me and my son, we're gonna do some film study on his game today. I'm that type of dad. He played well? He played well, but we always review the tape. Even at 11, we review the tape. I show him what he could have did here, how he could have did this. I show him his good things. He's getting a grasp. He's starting to see the floor. At point. And like I told you guys last night, he's a traditional 2, right? He'll score, he'll shooter. He like to shoot and can shoot. The boy is lethal with the jump shot, but this team got him running the point. So now he's, me, helping him along with his coaches, great coaches and great trainer. We got him playing, training with, he trains with older kids and 2 grades up. But teaching them the difference, and it's funny watching an 11-year-old learn, right, how to go from this to that. But we always got to watch that film. Yeah, the games didn't go well, man. They didn't win their games today, man. They was really sluggish in the first game, had a chance to win that, but they just was out of it. And in the second game, they really stepped their game up, man. They got down early, got down 11, and they brought it back within 1, and they lost the game by 1. But they looked good. Like I said, this is a newer team. This is not the team he played with in the fall. So it's like none of these guys have actually played together. But it's coming along. It's coming along. I think by their next tournament or 2, they'll be right. They'll be right. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get out of here, guys. I appreciate y'all, man. You'll see me again on Tuesday. And Kenyon will be on, man. We'll do the still table and we'll recap this draft once again, just give some real thoughts and analysis to it. And I look forward to seeing y'all there. But outside of that, y'all know the routine, man. If you haven't already, boom, bang. If you like the video, like the video. If you like the content, subscribe. And then also turn on those notifications. But until I see you guys again, make sure y'all stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. And I shall catch y'all in the next one. Peace.